We're 1.5 miles high in the Swiss Alps. Hello, I'm Bill Boggs, and I've come to Switzerland on a photographic mission to capture the beauty of the countryside and the spirit of the people. But there's only one problem: I don't exactly know how to do it. So Doug Walker, a professional photographer, is going to show me how.
Good luck with your shots, Bill.
Thank you. And there'll be a little excitement along the way. Yesterday, we were in New York City. Today, after an 8-hour flight to Geneva and a 1.5-hour train ride, Doug and I are high in the Swiss Alps in the town of Lausanne. Here, we'll take aerial photos from a paraglider and learn how to capture on film the medieval castle that inspired a famous poet. Next, it's northeast to Interlaken and panoramic shots from Europe's highest train station, then even higher, on an ice climbing adventure. We'll continue on a glassed-in train to Lucerne and learn the best ways to shoot the famous icons of this ancient city. An hour ago, I didn't know if I had the nerve to actually jump off the top of Bernus Mountain. And now that I know what it's like, I want to do it again. My son is never going to believe this. This time, though, I'm going to remember to take some photographs. So I asked Douglas for some tips.
Well, I'll tell you how you can prove it to your family, to your friends. Why don't you try and stick a piece of your body into the shot? Possibly your hands. So you could point to something that you're flying over.
Body part.
Body part, or even your shoes, possibly. And that way they'll know for sure that you're flying.
Like this?
Like that, yeah.
All right. Any other tip?
Sure, I think you should try a self-portrait when you're up there.
Headshot.
A headshot, yeah. The best thing to do is extend your arm as far as you possibly can, center the lens, and take a shot. There you go. And the other thing you might want to try, have some fun with it, do a couple variations. That way you'll know for sure that you were flying.
As long as my hand isn't shaking too much, I will attempt to do that.
Good there. Well, today's a big day for you.
It costs $11 to ride the cable car to the top.
That's true.
Paragliding down will set me back another $100. You feel like you're being lifted to the top of the world on a little wire. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. With the accent on little wire, right?
Very strong, the little wire.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Doug. Yeah, let's go. Oh. Wow.
Wow, here we are.
We're at about 6,000 feet. My pilot, Jeff, prepares the gear. It's very tight.
Yeah, that does.
Well, I'm ready to rock and roll. Or fly, one of the two.
Hey, let's go. Okay, guys, have a good trip. You're
Don't
gonna do
under
well.
the wing.
There's one quick before we go. Great.
No, you can't. You're up. You're up. You're up. Okay, boy.
What an experience! Woo! This is as close as I'm ever going to get to being a bird. Doug said put the feet in the shot, so I'll do that. That's one. I'll do a one-footer. That's another one. This should make the point that I'm hanging in midair. Okay, give it a smile. See if I get a shot like this. Ready?
Okay.
Hey!
Hello.
Hi! What an experience. Okay.
A little twist and turn, never hurt anybody. Woo! Oh, I see our landing spot there. Well, this is a wonderful way to start a visit to Switzerland. And I think I've taken some tremendous photos along the way. Now it's time for coming in just for a nice little safe land. Whoa!
At the top of the mountain, there's a revolving restaurant. Jeff and another pilot, Marino, join us for lunch.
So Jeff, this is kind of typical of what you might have for lunch someday when you're flying?
Yeah, it's not typical, but normally it's a cheese fondue, but we don't want to eat all the time a cheese fondue, so we like to change with a Chinese fondue.
This is actually called Chinese fondue?
Yeah, Chinese fondue.
So Chinese fondue is very lean beef.
Yeah, is it? With,
into what?
Bouillon, I don't know how you call that, but mushroom, vegetable.
Vegetables, and the chef told me you've got Chinese mushrooms.
Yeah, is it?
How about the wine? Is this the local wine?
Yeah, is it? It's this one. It's a white wine. It's from a bay. It's just down here. About from here, if we go straight down, it's 7 kilometers.
The pilots convince us we need to tour the vineyards on bikes. They direct us to Chèvre, a village at the center of the Lake Geneva wine-growing district. It's about a 1-hour train ride from Lausanne. Bicycles are available to rent at most train stations. They cost about $16 a day. We're in the French-speaking region. Lots of locals know English. I wish I spoke better French.
Ah, flat tire.
Flat tire.
Wait, what do we do?
Okay, flat tire.
Problems?
Flat tire.
Flat tire.
Okay.
No answer. Okay, good. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful way to travel around also by bicycle.
Sure is. You get to see a lot of the country this way.
Yeah, I think you look more carefully when you're going slowly like this.
That's right. Yeah, this is a nice trip.
Look at the size of this vat here. Look at this thing.
That's great. Yeah.
On our way to the vineyards, we stumble across a harvesting crew unloading grapes. They invite us inside to take a close-up look.
I wonder if these grapes are the property of Mr. Paley. Let's find out. So pretty close. I want to say this is a vat of grapes. I got one other thing here. Let's see what they're like before they hit the bottle.
Oh, it's great.
Very good. Thanks. Doug, have you ever toured or actually photographed a vineyard before?
No, actually, this is my first time, first trip.
Myself as well. I've sampled the products, of course, over the years, but
Yeah.
never really did the tour.
Oh, look, you can see the grapes here, too. I think there's a spot up here where we can get up a little higher, and by putting the grapes in the foreground and using wide angle, we're really going to add a lot of depth to the shot.
Some close-ups, in a way.
Absolutely.
Height.
Yes, yeah. But it also puts it in context, too, so the grapes will tell us it's a vineyard, and the scenery tells us we're in a beautiful spot. And actually, this looks good right about here.
You're on
Got
the end. Oh,
We're on the end, yeah.
Sure.
And I wanted to get some grapes, something to put in the foreground to really expand on the scene. So right here, we've got some great light coming down, hitting those grapes. It's such a beautiful scene right here, backlighting those leaves. It looks really good.
Yeah, when you say backlighting, that means you're actually shooting into the light, which aren't people told you have the light behind you?
Yeah, a lot of people are told that, and I think in general you shouldn't worry about that. If it looks good, shoot it. And here, this backlighting is really helping us. It's we're breaking a little bit of a rule, but it's really not an important one. It's because you can see it really adds dimension to the scene, so we're going to work with it. By putting something in the foreground, it just leads you right into this beautifully composed and graphic scene here. It's almost built to be photographed here. There's lots of places like this around. You just got to find them.
So you're happy, huh?
Oh, this looks fantastic, yeah.
Well, Doug, these dark skies serve as an interesting backdrop to visit a nearly 1,000-year-old medieval castle. What do you think?
Yeah, the clouds look fantastic over Lake Geneva there. It's beautiful.
This Chateau de Chillon, which is actually the most visited historical building in all of Switzerland.
Oh, you can see why. I think there's going to be many opportunities here to get a great shot.
Yeah, I agree with you. But you got to wonder, when you look at these slits in the wall, the people who've stared out over nearly 1,000 years, and some of the noble and evil deeds.
I'll bet. Let's go have a look.
Okay.
Chateau de Chillon rises from the shore of Lake Geneva at Montreux. It's about a 35-minute train ride east from Chèvre. We're here on this rainy day to photograph this architectural classic.
Well, we're crossing the moat. Every good castle needs a moat.
I'll say. Hey, Bill, wow, look at this.
That's beautiful.
This is going to make a great shot.
It's like time is standing still.
No kidding. Wow, very monochromatic. It's just a beautiful, beautiful frame shot here.
Okay.
I think you should shoot this.
Indeed, I will.
That's good. Vertical is a good way to do it. It's a great shot, but I got a tip for you here, Bill. I think what happened is that you have your camera on automatic. So this flash went off, which it's supposed to in this situation. But in this situation, we don't want that.
How come?
Well, it's really going to sort of make this a little bit weaker because it's going to light our nice framing aspect here of this arch. So I think what we want to do is turn the flash mode off, redo it, create the silhouette, which will frame us in, and you'll get a wonderful shot.
Okay, here we go.
There you go, Bill.
I've got the dramatic frame now.
You're learning. Let's go.
Thank you.
Inside, Doug and I take the self-guided tour. As I learn more, my imagination sweeps me back to the Middle Ages. From this castle, the Counts of Savoy controlled the main road to Italy and collected taxes on the merchandise streaming by. Over time, emperors, popes, and princes from all across Europe would come here to hold court. In 1536, the Swiss captured the castle and used it as an armory. A few years later, the castle's most famous prisoner, Bonivard, was chained to a pillar in the dark dungeon.
Doug, I've learned that the castle actually became well known because of a poem. Lord Byron came here in 1816, and he wrote a poem about a man who was held political prisoner here for 4 years.
Really, right here in this dungeon?
Yeah, in this actual space, actually right over there. And this is an excerpt from the poem. It was not night, it was not day, it was not even the dungeon light, so hateful to my heavy sight, but vacancy absorbing space and fixedness without a place. There were no stars, no earth, no time, no check, no change, no good, no crime, but silence and a stirless breath, which neither was of life nor death, a sea of stagnant idleness, blind, boundless, mute, and motionless.
About 20 miles away in the city of Lausanne, there's another medieval landmark I'm anxious to see and hear. For centuries, a town crier has stood in the tower of the Lausanne Cathedral to warn the villagers in case of fire. Now, these days, he's no longer needed for fire duty, but he still makes his cries each hour, every night.
Doug, I want to get a good photograph of the town crier at the top of this medieval cathedral.
Sounds great.
The reason I'm interested in this is that there has been a town crier crying the time every night on the top of this cathedral since 1405.
Really?
So if we get a good photograph of him, we're getting a photograph of living European history.
All right.
And it's built with the actual local sandstone, which is a soft stone. You can actually feel it as they come up. So it's constantly in a state of repair. There's never a day of the year when they're not working on it.
It's 225 steps to the observation deck. I hardly have time to catch my breath when the big bell begins to strike the hour. It's also the cue for the town crier to go to work.
Il a sonné 10. Il a sonné 10.
Philippe Beglon is chanting, "This is the town crier, the clock has struck 10." And he agrees to let us photograph him so long as we don't interfere with his 700-year-old schedule.
So Bill, we've had a look around and I think I found my spot here. This definitely is the right location. We've got great city skyline here and some good architecture. So
from this
shoot
corner
away.
over to the choir. Okay, let's see what I can
Absolutely.
do.
All right.
All right, it's good.
Well, that's pretty good, Bill. The way I would do it.
Doug explains that we're actually taking 2 pictures in one. A time exposure shot to capture the dim city lights, something my photo missed, and then, during the time exposure, the flash will fire to illuminate the crier and the church.
That's it. And one more. Okay, now I think based on that, we're going to have some a much more dynamic shot with a lot more depth and a sense of place.
Doug told me that my APS camera can also combine a time exposure and flash in one shot. I just needed to turn on a special mode called night flash and use a tripod.
Thank you, Philippe. This train ride is the ride the Swiss Railroad says is their most beautiful ride.
All right.
And I've heard about this Golden Pass all my life, but the last time I tried to take it, I missed the train.
Oh, we're in good time.
Yep, this time for sure.
From Montreux, we'll take the Swiss Rail System's Panoramic Express to Interlaken. Here we'll climb and photograph some of the tallest peaks in the Alps.
Well, you know how good the Swiss rail system is, really excellent. And when they say this is the premier route, you know that we are probably in for some spectacular scenery. You know, not just to photograph, but to photograph in your brain.
Yeah,
you know, to take the spiritual experience with you.
I don't know how this is going to get any better.
We each bought a first-class 8-day Swiss Rail Pass. It cost about $320. The pass allows almost unrestricted travel throughout Switzerland.
I want to get a shot to show exactly what it looks like sitting in the front seat of the train.
That's a great idea.
Tracks ahead. So what would you say?
Well, I think first of all we want to try a vertical, just because of the
right.
vertical nature of the tracks, of course.
That's good.
And then the mountains are high, so you're going to get the mountains in there as well.
All right. I wouldn't have thought of that vertical idea. And
Great shot, Bill. However, your flash went off because the camera's on automatic. And the problem with that, of course, is the flash is going to hit the window, come back and blind you dead. So
I didn't win any awards.
Not on that one. But fortunately, all I have to do is go to the landscape mode, which turns the flash off.
All right.
Reframe it.
Stick with the vertical, which is interesting because it looks just like the tracks ahead. That's
it. Will really frame the tracks. That was great. There you go. You got it.
Interlaken translates to between the lakes. The town of Interlaken is literally between Lakes Thun and Brienz. We're now in the German-speaking part of Switzerland.
I can't say I ever really associated these autumnal colors with Switzerland. I don't know why, but that's a perception that has changed instantly here in Interlaken, I'll tell you.
You got snow, the fall colors, and then the green in the valley here. It's really sort of a 3-layered look here. Very colorful. It's very nice.
Interlaken's our home base to visit nearby sites. First, we're off to Lauterbrunnen. It's a 30-minute rail and bus ride, both free with our rail pass. Well, if what we read is accurate, we are going to see
The waterfall capital of Switzerland.
Oh, wow, you can see them all up there already. Looks great.
The waterfalls here are fed by glaciers in the surrounding mountains. Trummelbach Falls are the most visited because there are paths and elevators to the most interesting sections.
So, Doug, where do you want to start? Well, there's lots to see. That's fall number 6 here. Let's go down the chute.
Winter is fall number 6, okay.
Well, there
What
it
a
is.
wonderful sight.
That is a raging torrent.
I'm ready to move, and got it.
If I could take your camera, I'll do a portrait for you like I haven't done too many already.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to get you to work a little bit. I'm going to get you to lean down a little bit.
Why?
So that, because I'm going to go up on the stairs and elevate a little bit, and that way we're going to see the end of this waterfall, in other words, where it ends up. So we'll have a nice stream coming down the pool and some drama. So you want to get in there, and I'll take it for you.
I'll move your pack out here.
Okay, Bill, you got to work a little. That's it, down. Okay. Welcome to the waterfall. Great, got it.
Thank you.
We also want to get a shot that captures the motion of the water, so Doug suggests a time exposure.
It'll blur the water so much that it'll almost end up looking a little silky. It'll be a really, really nice shot. It's kind of a technique that we pros use all the time. Bill, I can change my shutter speed here with using this camera. I've got a few features here that allow me to go on manual, and then by pushing a few of these magic buttons, I can get this down to where I want. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go about 4 seconds, maybe 8 seconds. I'll do a couple different shots just to give myself the best opportunity to get this shot. So,
And that's why it's on the tripod, too.
it's on the tripod because obviously if the camera's open for 8 seconds, if you're hand holding it, we want the water to blur. We don't want the rest of the scene to blur. Good, that's one.
Ahead on Freeze Frame, we overcome a common lighting problem on a snow-white glacier. From Interlaken, we can see the 3 main mountains of the region, the Eiger, the Monk, and the Jungfrau. That's where we've arranged to meet our mountain guides for a photo expedition on a glacier. Our destination is Jungfraujoch, which lies on the saddle between the Jungfrau and Monk. At 10,360 feet, it's the highest railway station in Europe. Our journey takes us about 14 miles southeast of Interlaken, and most of the trip is up a steep incline. At Kleine Scheidegg, the tracks become so steep that we must transfer onto a cogwheel train. The cogs give the train extra traction to climb the mountain. The special fare for this part of our trip is discounted 25% with our pass, but it still costs us an extra $75.
According to what I've read, it took 16 years to build this line, the Jungfraujoch railroad line. And these tracks will take us to the highest railroad station in Europe, the Jungfraujoch.
Soon we enter the Eiger Tunnel. Fritz Mueller joins us. He works for the Jungfrau Railway. At 9,480 feet, the train stops for a few minutes at Ijsmeer Station. Fritz tells us Ijsmeer means sea of ice. We're now inside Eiger Mountain.
Oh,
Never
boy.
seen anything like this in my
That's
life.
great.
The sunlight reflected off of the glacier is dazzling. Doug says that because of the bright light, I should use a slower film speed, or ISO, for this shot.
But I only have about 6 shots on this film in my camera now, so I don't want to change.
No problem with this system, Bill. It's coded, and when we take the cassette out, it'll tell you still have film left, so you can pop it right back in, and that'll be no trouble
I can put
whatsoever.
a half-used roll back in. Okay,
Absolutely. No.
Doug shows me how to read the markings on my advanced photo system, or APS film cartridge. There are white symbols that tell me if the film is unexposed, if it's partially shot, if it's entirely shot or if the film has already been developed.
Okay?
All right, so I just put this in.
Yep, we'll just reload and then let's shoot this thing. It looks great.
The end of the line is the Jungfraujoch station. This place is known as the top of Europe to the more than 1 million passengers who make this journey every year. We exit onto the Jungfraujoch Plateau. Here at almost 11,000 feet on a plain of perpetual snow, Douglas and I are going to learn to ice climb. Peter and Stefan are our guides.
Okay, guys, let's move. How does the altitude affect all of the people you work with and yourself as well?
Everybody gets affected by the altitude, and it's just a matter of getting acclimatized. How much time you're going to spend in a certain altitude,
Right?
you get used to slowly.
I slow down. I find myself, my heart beating really fast at this point. Do you hear this from people often?
Yeah, it's very normal, yeah. That's very normal.
It's just because the oxygen's...
There's less oxygen in the air here.
A climb like ours on Jungfraujoch with a personal mountain guide and climbing gear costs about $375.
Okay, now guys, we're going to do a little briefing of the actual climbing now. So you're just going to watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what to do after me.
All right.
As soon as I'm up there, I'm going to belay you from the top, pull up the rope tight, and you can use 2 ice axes to follow me.
Okay.
So this is your other axe.
Okay.
You've got 2. So I'm going to show you now. Hit. Hit. Climb up.
Peter leads the way up. He makes it look easy. I doubt if it's going to be that easy for me. I'm up next, and this is not the time to get cold feet.
All I hear is the sound of the rope pulling me up.
Okay.
That means you're next, Bill.
Are you ready?
The rope is just to belay you. You climb yourself, so use your ice axes as Peter showed you before.
Now I'm having trouble with the first step here.
Try to hit your feet into the snow.
If I'm going to make it, it'll be one difficult step after another.
Now go a little bit more to the left-hand side, Bill. Easier. Here we go. Perfect.
And
The other one.
back.
All right. So you're becoming a professional now.
No,
Looks very good.
I feel like Chuckles the Clown on a glacier. All right, now what?
Okay, Bill. Now you should take up your feet. That's the exhausting part of the trip. Here we go. That's the left one is perfect. Here we go. Super.
Heels down before you kick it in. Yes, here we go. Just one more step.
One more step.
Sit down.
I'll be happy to sit down.
I can't believe I'm here. What a view.
Paging Doug Walker. I'll be right there.
Doug's making good time. Coming from Canada, he's probably used to these conditions.
Right, Doug, let me see what I can do here. You told me before to put the, what was it, the ISO 100?
Yeah, sounds
All right,
great. Yeah.
so we got the right film in. What I see is a terrific picture, a view, just outlined. What's the best setting for this?
Well, definitely the widest angle zoom on there because I think I'm really close to you. You want to see me, the fill flash is going to go off, and then we're going to see this sweeping landscape.
Why would the fill flash go off with all this light?
Because the light's all behind you, and I, of course, am in darkness. So that's a great feature there. You're going to be able to see my smiling, sweaty face.
All right.
Charming.
Doug, you're a professional photographer. You've been all over the world. Now we're sitting here on the side of a glacier.
in the Alps in Switzerland, what do you see? What do you want to photograph?
Well, I'll tell you, this is just the most spectacular thing I've ever seen, and I'm not just saying that because the Swiss have been so nice to us, but this is just sets up beautifully for a panoramic scene, a panoramic shot, and your camera's got this perfect feature for that, and that's the PAN's feature right there.
Still, even though you're using the panoramic, you could still take a bad shot, though, in terms of composition. Give me
Absolutely.
What is right, what is wrong, when you've got such beauty in front of
Well,
you.
what people are going to tend to want to do is zoom in, as they say, to get those clouds and those mountains over there. And then what they're really doing is eliminating this whole scene over here. The pan feature by compressing the top and the bottom of the frame. There's a lot of sky we don't need. We don't need a lot of this, just pure snow here. We want the drama and the lighting on the mountains. That's where we get the depth. So that's what we're going to do. Wide angle, panorama.
Stefan, Peter, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys, big smile.
You were excellent.
Good, got it. All right.
Next on Freeze Frame, Douglas has a plan to capture the dying lion of Lucerne. From Interlaken, we take the Panorama Express northeast to Lucerne, and it's about a 2.5-hour train ride.
This is Lake Briance that we're passing now. Probably, judging by what I can see up there, it looks like we're passing it for some time.
That's an amazing coral color to the water there. So this boat just tours up and down the lake?
Well, yeah, it's a scenic cruise because of the scenery, but it goes from port to port to port, so you transport yourself across the lake. It's really a terrific way to
Yeah,
travel.
that'd be a good ride, wouldn't it?
Or you can run around the lake. You have a choice.
I never used an APS camera before this trip, so I had my first rolls of film developed in Interlaken.
Okay, Bill, what happens is all the negatives are stored in the cassette. You never actually have to touch them. And the lab gives you a contact sheet similar to what I would get as a professional. Each one of these pictures is coded, so all you have to do when you want to get reprints is go back, give them back this, and of course the code is right there. You get your prints right away.
So I won't lose my negatives like I normally do.
You won't if you don't lose the cartridge. Well, Bill, here we are.
The train station is in the old part of the city. Lucerne dates back to the 13th century. Swans swim up to us as we explore the riverfront.
Yeah, they really look interesting too, with all that sparkling light coming from behind there. So
That's
nice shot.
About 6 blocks from the river is one of Switzerland's most famous landmarks, a sculpture carved in a sandstone cliff.
And it was one solid year of work by a Danish sculptor.
You read that on the train.
Yeah.
Boy, that's impressive.
That is really beautiful.
Wow.
You can feel it. I mean, it's something that has, it's a piece of artwork that has life. And it represents the Swiss soldiers who fought in the French Revolution.
Wow.
What do you think, Doug? This is obviously one of the most photographed spots in Lucerne. What do you say?
What I'm seeing with most of the people is probably, I wouldn't say it's an error, but what you tend to do is you walk right up and you stand directly in front of the monuments. There's such a dynamic and three-dimensional situation here. I think we should work a little bit more and try and tell the story in more than one shot.
From where?
You know, hop this fence. Well, it's a tough one for us young guys.
Already, it's a totally different perspective.
It's such a simple move, too. You know, we're walking just a few feet, and these trees, we're getting the fall, we're pretty much getting everything here. This is great.
You see it in more perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a wonderful shot. So, Bill, now what I want to do is I want to come around this side, and I want to do a close-up shot. You can just see as we're walking how different that statue
Changes
looks.
every step.
So now let's zoom in. I want to zoom in on that face because it's so dynamic, and let's capture the agony of this animal.
A few steps away from the man-made sculpture is another of Lucerne's famous monuments, this one carved by nature.
I've been wondering about this glacier garden. Sounds a bit like an oxymoron. The geologists look at this and tell us about what Lucerne was like 20 million years ago.
This was really nice. It's so close to where we just came from, too. This is sort of a very
Right next to the
convenient
lion
thing to look
statue.
at,
Yeah. These potholes were actually scoured under the force of highly pressurized melt water, which is mixed with sand and gravel at the bottom of the glacier. So I guess that means as the glacier was melting, the force of that melted water caused potholes like that,
Kind of looks like the potholes in the streets back home.
which I would not want to drive over.
I'll say.
As we walk back along the riverfront near the Chapel Bridge, Doug gives me a photo tip that I can use anywhere I go.
Well, this 600-year-old bridge is one of the most noted symbols in Switzerland.
And you know, a good way to shoot it is to do some research like we do as a professional at a postcard stand.
You do?
We do. If we can come around here,
Here
and
it is.
listen,
Look.
we can see a few pictures here. This is going to give us an instantaneous look at what other people do. So we might as well build on it. Cliches are our friend. We can see the angle. Looks like it's just down here. Let's go have a look.
It's a good idea, and we'll save time.
All right.
So the card showed it from this angle here,
So
right?
Bill, that card was 20 feet away. We take 20 steps down, and when you know it, here's our angle right here. So that's a
Okay.
great shot right there.
All right. Yeah, that is good. It is a good angle. You see almost the entire length, or actually the entire length.
That's right. Maybe you'll get a better shot than the postcard, though.
And it's free.
You can sell your own postcard. Let's go.
Up next on Freeze Frame, capturing high-speed action. It's a 1-hour train ride from the city of Lucerne to Engelberg at the base of Mount Titlis. At the top, where it's snow-covered year-round, Doug and I plan to take ski lessons. Here in the lower elevations, the meadows are still green. Pasture land rolls right up to the edge of this small village, so close we can hear the tinkle of Swiss cowbells from the station. Cowbells are an unofficial symbol of Switzerland. I've been looking for an opportunity for a classic shot.
Look at this scene. We have the babbling brook, green field, my beloved Swiss cows I've been waiting to see, coming over to say hi. Not to mention what, Doug?
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Misty, it's a moody day with cows. Hello, fellows, or women.
We finally saw the bells. Hey, Bill, let's try something different here. Let's try taking a couple shots that are going to tell the story. I think we've got two things to think about. We've been hearing lots about the bells, but this is such a gorgeous landscape, we want to tell the whole story. So if we back way off, we're not going to see the bell. To come in real close, we miss this gorgeous scene. So we're going to take two shots, and we're going to try and tell a story. First thing you should do, zoom in, get a tight shot of that bell, and then I want to walk back and recompose and put these cows in the context of this fantastic and just stunning landscape here.
So just go for a bell shot now on the zoom.
Cows have bells.
All right, I've got the cow and I've got the bell. That's my bell shot.
Okay, now let's back off a little bit, go wide angle, and show everybody where these cows actually are.
And get some of the misty, it's almost like an Ansel Adams.
Oh,
isn't it?
this
The
is
colors of
fantastic.
fall and the gray, smoky
You
clouds.
shouldn't be scared to shoot in inclement weather, because look what happens. I mean, those clouds are actually making this shot.
And I got the wide, oh, thank you.
That's beautiful.
It's a short walk from the Engelberg train station to the cable cars. It costs about $40 to ride to the summit.
It's just a couple of minutes before 9 o'clock European time. Gorgeous blue sky day. Is this the magic hour lighting that you prefer, or is it already too late?
No, absolutely. You can see it right over there. That's the alpine glow. It's a really nice, soft, warm light.
What is it that makes it special?
Well, when the light is low like that, it's very soft. It's the softness and warmth of the light. You can see it hitting the top of those mountains there.
Yes, it looks like it's exactly the kind of day you want. And
Here's our
this-
rotate.
yeah, this is a rotaire.
We take the world's first revolving gondola to the top. As many as 75 passengers can stand inside for the 5-minute ride. The car slowly turns to reveal a 360-degree view of the glacier field below.
Well, I'm looking forward to you putting on those boards, Bill.
You think so, Doug? Well, we'll see. Doug, this is one of the most beautiful landscapes I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it looks special, all right, doesn't it? Wow.
How do I capture it?
Well, I think the two most obvious things you want to do is go to a panoramic setting and shoot it horizontally so you get the sweeping landscape. But we've got a really important element here that we can use to our advantage. This little piece of snow right in front of us, it's really going to help frame the shot and sort of put this landscape again in its place. We've got some really, really nice backlighting there, so don't be scared to shoot into the sun. You know, it's going to help us on this shot. Wow.
All right, Doug, you got people coming at us from all angles here, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. How do I get the action shot?
Well, there's two things we have to do, Bill. We've got to pan our camera with the skier, and we have to make sure to keep him in the center so that with our autofocus feature, the subject matter is sharp. So I'll pan and keep the action in the center.
Right, and I see as I look in the center, I've got a little square there, and I keep the skier right in that square.
And that way, that's the autofocus indicator, and that'll keep the skier sharp. Here
And
comes
I
what I
pan.
know. And got it.
Okay, I've seen enough. It's time we meet our ski instructor, Christoph.
Doug never had a lesson, and the last time I had skis on, cable TV wasn't invented.
Oh, that's
So
quite,
we have to have pretty basic instruction here.
okay, so that's quite some time ago. Well, the main thing is, I suppose, that you have to get our skis natural to our feet. That's the main thing. You have to feel happy.
I
with
feel
your
happy,
movement.
but I don't
Okay.
feel like I'm going anywhere. I mean,
What we try now, we slide. So we bend the knees and ankles, like that, parallel, and we stand up and slide and stop.
that's one of the ways that you essentially learn to stop, because I notice as they're stopping, they're always coming in on an edgy position, when otherwise they're plunging off the side of the gorge there.
Absolute right.
Right,
Absolute
okay,
right.
good.
Okay, now you start to dribble a ski around into snowplow position.
That I remember from the one other lesson I had. Why do I feel like Jerry Lewis and the bellboy here?
Put your poles into the back,
Poles there?
poles into the back behind you.
Whoa! Yes!
You all right?
Yeah!
Good one.
Well, before the much needed continuation of our ski lesson, thank you very much, Douglas Walker, for advice on taking good photographs here in Switzerland or anywhere.
You're welcome.
Good job. I'm Bill Boggs. Thanks for watching Freeze Frame. That's it.